Life is absurd. Life is definitely absurd. It's not just a place that tragedy happens, but it sort of seems a little bit like a place where tragedy has to happen, where tragedy happens without even knowing it's tragedy, like in the natural world. Now, in the human world, we see tragedy happens, knows it happens. People ought to know better. But if you just look at nature, you can see this sort of absurd nature where nothing really ever amounts to anything. Now, the best assessment of absurdity that I know of is that of Camus. And he uses the metaphor of Sisyphus, pushing the stone up the hill and it rolls down again. And he has to do this forever. And it's presented as a terrible fate, a pointless fate. And I think when I was young, I assumed through my received opinion that the idea was that Sisyphus, for some reason, wanted that rock. The joy in this equation comes from the stone being at the top of the hill, but it immediately rolls down. But being, at least partly a country boy, to me, the joy is watching this rock. I pushed a few rocks down a few hills. It's a fun thing to do. So I imagine that Sisyphus pushes the rock up the hill to watch it roll down. Okay, now if that is the case, then pushing it up the hill can be an anticipation, hard work done for good fun. And this is the point because in this metaphor, depending on how you take life, if you want to, and you're Sisyphus, you can accept that you're pushing the stone up the hill and watching it roll down to avoid being bored. You're in a little valley with a hill, and that's all you have to do. You are doing that to avoid being bored, and being bored is the ultimate problem. Now, of course, in real life, when someone is suffering and having a material threat to their survival and their reasonable expectations of health and freedom, they probably accept a bored state. Okay. But the point is that what we want to do is go above the bored state. That's what we're trying to do. And we can do that. We can do that with interpretation as well as with deciding what actions to take. Since we aren't Sisyphus, we actually have freedom to choose an environment where there's positive actions to take if we like.